Hello everybody. Today we're going to be painting this bad boy. So this is Guilliman? Roboute? Heard being called Roboute Guilliman? Or Girlyman, but anyway. It's Roboute? Anyway. This dude. So this guy is absolutely massive. And we're going to be starting with probably the most boring part, just filling in all the parts I don't want to paint after. So I'm going to do like all like the inseams and stuff like that with like a silver, basically. All the back parts. Very neutral color. It's going to do like silver with a black wash. I'm going to use a really terrible brush for this. So I'm going to start with some Private Press Quicksilver. And then we're just going to go to town. Basically any part where I can't reach in afterwards very easily, I'm just going to try and fill the void with some silver then black ink afterwards. So how you guys doing? It's a nice sunny afternoon right now here. Getting kind of warm apparently. It almost feels like summer in BC right now. A little ridiculous. Okay, and then definitely around his like neck area. Just want that all silvered and blacked out when I do the primer. I don't mind doing a lot of overpainting with the silver because it's a very light color, and so it almost basically simulates white, which is like the primer. So I don't really care if it gets everywhere. Okay. So especially the back of the backpack. That's when it's dark. So this guy is missing his little wings, which is, the client doesn't care about that. Kind of makes it a little weird because it's like very flat, uninteresting surface there, but that's fine. So he's gonna be this normal Signar, or not Signar. He's gonna be the ultramarine colors, but I don't have the Sigmar or the ultramarine colors. So I'm just going to use whatever colors I have. But I'm not going to do like the flat kind of blue. I'm going to go for more of like a more of an interesting like high contrast kind of blue. Make it more heroic and interesting. Okay. So to get most of the back of the backpack and his back and his neck. Okay. Yeah, you can barely see the difference between the silver and the white, which is just fine. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna look at the art and see what's silver on him, because I'm probably doing a lot of gold for all the trim. So basically, a lot of the gun parts. So I'm just gonna thin out my silver a bit, and then may as well I can do all silvers that I can. Okay, so this is his ammo feed has little skulls on it. That's skulls for a skull gun, I guess. Except it's the Emperor. Either way, what else is silver in this guy? So all of his like inner workings are gonna be silver. They're normally black on Space Marines, but this guy actually does have silver joints. Interesting. I guess he's got a huge suit of armor, so it's not like the traditional like plastic I guess they have. Or whatever dark material. It's like that rubber tubing kind of stuff. The corrugated stuff reminds me of. Now this guy's actually straight up metal plating everywhere. Okay. What else? Yeah, those wings would have really covered up this weird spot right here, but Maybe that's a different project. I think that's all the silver. His feet have like no silver at all. He's even missing the Chaos Space Marine on his whatever. It's gonna be on a grassy knoll. Okay, so while silver's drying, I'm just gonna do a little base coat of the ground, and I'm gonna make it. I make it rather browny, because I'm gonna have the stone, like a lot of the stone here, gray, so I want to have the contrast of the brown and the gray. So I want to try some umber for this, and make sure my brush is really clean because I don't have any silver flakes in the ground. Really water down this part. I don't mind if it's too runny, just because it's gonna pool in the bottom, and I want it to pool there, and it's gonna leave like the top parts like very thin and white almost, which is just fine because I'm gonna be dry brushing that to a different color anyway, so I really don't care. I'm basically just doing this until the silver dries, and I can do a wash. And then I'm going to start in blue. But I'm going to, instead of doing all the blue at once, I'm going to basically work on his leg and see what kind of, how much contrast I want to do on the blue. Like how bright, how dark, etc, etc. And then I'll do like one piece at a time. Okay. And I'll probably do the gold after I've done the blue on each segment. So I'll do like one full leg, do the gold, and then do the blue on this leg, do the gold, etc, etc. And work my way up. So all my colors are P3, if I haven't mentioned this already. Nice and non-toxic. Client used some really very like coarse gravel, so I need to have some very thin paint to get in between. Otherwise, have these weird chunks of white primer sticking out, which is not what you want. Okay. Yeah, there's even a wrench in there. Interesting. Seems quite primitive, but I guess something's never changed 40,000 years in the future. Okay. Once I'm done the brown, I'm not going to go back to it. If there's any like white primer sticking out of the rocks, I'm probably just going to cover it with some grass tufts. Unless it's like a huge, really noticeable part, like right here where the gravel isn't really touching the edge. I'm going to just fill it with grass. That wasn't me. That was that guy built this. But I do that on occasion, where I just leave the accidentally leave the edge exposed like this. It doesn't look good unless you hide it. Okay. I think the silver is done. Okay. So I'm gonna use the same brush here and just use some Armor Wash by P3. And thicken it up a bit with some mixed medium. Okay. Oops. dried. Oh, okay. Give me a second. Oops. Let me just try and fix that. A little too close, apparently. Alright. How about that? There we go. Let's try that for now. So it just thickens it up and disperses the oh, what's it called again? The pigment. It spreads it out more. It kind of gives it like a milky kind of look, but when it dries, it doesn't have that. It retains the deep darkness of the original colors, so don't worry too much about that. However, it does thicken up quite a bit, and so you can start losing details if you put too much of the stuff on. And if you put way too much on, like a giant pool, it may crack a bit. So don't let it pool too much. But I do like to goop it on. And I did way too little. Alright. This guy's a big guy. He's a big boy. Big blue boy. Gotta make sure I got enough paint for him. Here we go. It's like 3 times the amount I used before. Probably overkill, but let's find out. Okay. I'm not worried about too much about sloppiness everywhere. It'll pool in the recesses, and yeah, it'll be just fine. Provided it doesn't have a huge pool. Like I don't want pool in something that's really noticeable. That was giant cracked kind of mess. But I'm sure it'll be fine. You need to have like a giant pool. Like you can drown a person in. Okay. Like that's probably way too much, but it's just fine. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's a ammo belt. Okay. So I like to make sure I don't put too much on, especially for something this visible. Control how much you put on. I don't care so much about this side, because it's kind of shadowed, so you want it darker anyway. You can always go back and do a second coat if you want. But remember, the mixing medium will obscure detail if you put too much on, especially multiple coats, so just be careful. It's almost better to go back with like a black brush, like black paint, and just paint it on, deepen it. Okay. So the basics are pretty much out of the way now. I can start doing on the blue, the fun stuff. I just make sure this neck is dark as I can make it. It would really suck if I had some kind of like white speck from the primer. Really noticeable. Okay. Oh yeah, apparently my color balance is a little off. Okay, let's see now. I can increase the saturation a bit. Let's see now. No, I can't change the hue, unfortunately. Black light, white balance, no. I think it's because of the green. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. That's more like reality.
Okay. I'm gonna just increase saturation a little bit.
Way better.
Let's try that. Actually, let's try with the white exposure. Whoa. No. Alright. I think that's enough playing with it for now. So let's just double check I've got all the recessed areas I want darkened a bit. let's get a different brush. I'm gonna scoop away some of this paint extra right here because I want to start on this leg first. So I just want to make sure there's no medium that I want to mix up with my blue. Okay. I think. Famous last words, I think. Yes. I think this is fine. Okay. How's it looking? It's a bloody mess right now. But it's going to take a little while. Probably today and tomorrow to make it look half decent. Okay. So now let's start some blue. So I'm going to flip this over. So I got a nice close side to me. So I'm going to start with some more white. And I'm going to just mix it up with some of my Signar blue highlight. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Nick? Did you make a Twitch account just for me? Okay, let's get a better brush. Okay, so I'm gonna do one leg at a time here. Okay. So I think it's just all blue at the most part. So, like I said before, I think you missed it, or you might have missed it, is that I'm doing like a kind of a higher contrast blue, so it's going to go from a very bright to a very dark kind of blue. Make it a little more interesting, because I don't like a flat blue. So I'm just going to try this out. I'm going to do one leg at a time, basically, just to test out my colors and stuff. Okay. I think his foot is just one solid color of blue. Actually, no. Let me check on the model. Yeah. Oh yeah, this part is actually gold or whatever. Main part of the boot is blue. So basically, starting with the highlights, which is this very vibrant blue, bright. That's what you want, and you're gonna darken it. You just do some two-brush blending, and then it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of very fine gold scroll work to do after that. Well, that's gonna be painful. Okay, let's double check his. Oh, that's actually a blue in there too. I might just simplify that, make it all just gold or silver in there. It looks weird to be blue inside that kind of like a port or some sort for his drugs, I guess. Because Space Marines are all hopped up on drugs. Battle chems. I'm sure their patriarch is high as a kite all the time. That's why he doesn't die, just can't feel a thing. Okay. Okay. So while this is drying, I'm just going to play around with some of this stuff to make sure there's no like giant pools. Because you don't want that. No pools of mixing medium dry. Yeah, right here is maybe a little too much. Oh yeah, I missed a spot. Of course I missed a spot. Okay. I'm just gonna just wash that gun part in general. I think it's silver, I don't know. But I'm just gonna do it anyway. Oh yeah, and it's in between his hand parts. Okay. So while the blue is drying, unfortunately the base is still drying too because I use a lot of watered down brown. You can try and do a little bit of dry brushing right now, but as you can see it's a little bit shiny like right there. And I'll start mixing with the dry brush and I'll start just muddying it out and not look good. It won't be crisp. So I'll have to wait. There's the reason why I'm starting this leg first, because I want to do the dry brush. It's going to get a little messy, and this guy's off the brown ground, so I can do it more safely compared to this one right here, because he's right on the dirt itself. And he's a little bit of a grayish area that's like part of like the, I guess, fortification that he's on. So actually, I don't even know what Space Marines are. They're not like defenders. They're more like attackers, or are they just like a all around kind of like just the most balanced type guys? I know some are like just like pure offensive, pure like siege breakers. I think the Iron Warriors are siege breakers, even though they're chaos. Sons of Dorn. I think they're like siege experts, whatever. I'm a little groggy on some of the more obscure chapters. I'm pretty sure the Blood Angels are more like the assault type guys. They're all like bloodthirsty and vampires and sparkly, I guess. And the Dark Angels are just traitors. Making sure I didn't miss any of the in between the filigree. There's a lot of little intricate parts there. Okay. So the blue is almost dry. So I'm going to take some straight Signar blue highlight, and I'm going to get a better brush, and I'm just going to start doing some two brush blending. And I'll be shading with some Exile blue, and then probably some black. Not pure black, Exile blue and black. Okay, so let's get some more. Let's get my brush wet first. Always important to have your, whenever you need to brush, just wet it first. Okay. So I think alright. I think the boot part, the shoe, is the driest. So I'm going to start there and work my way up. Okay. And then I'm going to get another another clean brush, but it's kind of wet. This is my blending brush. Okay. Let's see how thin I want this. When you're doing two brush blending, it's really important to get the proper consistency. Okay. Almost like an ink, you're doing it so thin, but you're doing controlled kind of blends. Let us try this part. I'm putting the paint in the deeper recessed areas, and then I'm pulling it out so it's thinner as it goes away from the recessed areas, so it's got a nice gradient to it. And then I'm going to try and make the top part a little darker because it flares down. And so this part right here be a little darker than the bottom part. But for now, I'm just going to leave it right now so it dries. I'm using my saliva as a nice medium, because your spit is great for that kind of stuff. If you guys don't know, if you do if you use water to thin your paints a lot, if you do have a really thin paint, actually causes, or the water actually causes it to dry kind of fast, and you get the bathtub effect. And so the bathtub effect, when it dries on the edge and it gets like a harsh line of like pigment that's pooled there, there's a ring, which looks terrible. It screws up while you're blending, and your saliva doesn't have that. Plus, your saliva actually slows down the drying process, which is pretty good, especially for two-brush blending. Yes, but the problem is a lot of paints are toxic. Even if they are, even if they say they're non-toxic, but P3 is guaranteed to be non-toxic, and they say they use their paints exclusively for two-brush blending. So, and there's 2D use two-brush blending as well. I mean, it's not good to ingest anything that's not like, but you know, it's not like some other paints where it will be very bad very quickly. So just be careful. Okay. And I always try and end up wrecking my my paintbrush this way, because I always leave my paintbrush with the paint on it. I always leave it somewhere while I'm blending with the other brush, and it just dries. So it's always good to just periodically just wash it and dry it. We'll do both brushes while it's drying. Okay, so this is like the first layer of blending. I'm probably gonna do a second one, but this is the first result. Kind of hard to see. I have to change my settings maybe to get it look nicer on the camera. No. Let's try to bring down the saturation a bit. Doesn't look much of a change at all on camera, but it's fine. Okay, I think the base is actually kind of good. I'm gonna start doing a bit of dry brushing there. So I'm gonna use a completely different brush. I'm gonna use this bad boy. This one's very old. You can see how much paint is built up on it. It's there's no tip to speak of. I used it for a couple. Mars Army, the Death Watch Army, and the red just kind of ruined it, but that's fine. It was like a $3 brush. So I'm gonna go back to my Umber. Actually, no. Let's do a warmer color. Let's go for, what is this called? This is Bootstrap. This is Bootstrap Leather. And I'm just gonna do a bit of dry brushing. Okay. So I'm just gonna get the paint to the proper consistency in the brush. There we go. And then, yeah, this is pretty coarse. So I have to go, maybe use a lot of paint on this one. Normally I use thinner paint, or thinner gravel, and I can use a lot less paint, but it's very coarse here, so I'm just gonna just really dop my paintbrush, dop a lot of paint on my brush. Okay. Okay. So... you can see a bit of the base just sticking out right there between the skull. It's like, yeah, you can see right there. Which is not good, but like I said before, I'm just gonna use some like grass tufts to cover that stuff up. Any kind of problem like that. If it's a problem in the base, normally just cover it with grass. If it's a problem in the model, battle damage. Battle damage is amazing for that kind of stuff. Just add a little scratch. If you didn't blend it properly, battle damage. Overpainting, a little silver speck, battle damage. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna make sure this blue is properly dry. So I'm actually, because you don't want to. Yeah, it's still wet right there. Because you don't want to try and do too much blending over top of wet paint. So I'm just gonna go back and do some more dry brushing on the brown. Now it's a little darker. You can kind of see a little bit of like the white primer sticking through, and like the deep quartz recesses. So I don't like the coarse gravel. But that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna take some or not, this is a Menoth white base. I'm just gonna add it to my bootstrap leather until I get a nice lighter color. So it's a creamish white. So let's see now. So I'm gonna use it a lot more sparingly. And just try and get the very tips of the gravel and stuff. This combination of like gravel and like sculpted, I guess, soil. So gotta make it look kind of consistent. Okay. I'm going to do a very thin, very fast, just around here. Because this is all the sculpted stuff, so I just want to do a very thin one. And bring it out. Okay. And then... let's see now. I'm going to take some more of this Menoth white. I'm going to brighten it up some more. But I'm going to be very, not frugal, conservative with this part. So I'm trying to do more of the raised areas. Try and bring some more depth to this area. Let's see. As you can see here, I got a bunch of brown all over my leg. That's why I didn't do this leg first. Okay. So this is going to be this gray stone for the most part around here, and there's lots of little skulls, so I don't worry about that too much. Okay, let's go back to some pure Menoth white. I mean pure because it's still mixing it with the brown in my paintbrush, but for the most part it's going to be the lightest. And I'm just going to try and find some of the more raised areas. Okay. And so I'll dry brush this part, but try and keep this dark. Use it more illusion of depth. Just find the highest peaks basically for this, the brightest color. I could go back with a bit of a brown, like a black, with some mixing medium and try and do some recesses, but I'll probably do it after I've done the blue. Alright. So that's the base for the most part done for the brown. Let's go back to the blue. So the second layer of, when I do two brush blending, is normally a thicker one, dries faster. It's more to kind of block out where it was a little too thin, maybe a little too like chunky, you might say. So this is just basically block in the color. Plus my paint dried a bit more, so it's a little thicker on the palette. Also missed some parts too, little side pieces. Once most of the blue is done, I'll go back and do some edge highlighting. And then just reclaim some parts. Oop, I bumped my palette. Alright, sorry about that. Let's make sure this is nice and a good blend to it. There we go. And make sure the curvature of the armor looks nice. Because this guy got the interesting thigh armor. Make sure it's nice and crisp in there. Oh yeah, this part right here, which I definitely missed. Alright, is the color still good? What do you guys think? Actually noticeable difference this time? Okay. For the most part, this blue is basically dry. Go back and do a little bit of edge highlighting with that light blue, just along some edges, some more raised areas. Okay. So let's try. Basically reclaiming some of this area that might have been darkened a little too much. And I also didn't do a good blend job here, so I'm just gonna make it look a little better. Okay. I think it's time for some Exile Blue. So this is like a deeper, less saturated kind of blue. Can you guys see it now? Okay, cool. It's on camera, which is perfect. Alright, so let's find a dry spot and darken it. So the first two brush layer I like to do is quite thin, so it gets everywhere where I want it to be. And then the second layer is to thicken and blocking it out, or block it out. Okay. So get rid of some of the saturation. So it doesn't look so candy-ish, you might say. I still want to keep some saturation. I do like high saturation. Okay. And then I might, after this, I might go back with the like a darker blue, exile and some black, and then I'll go back after that with some just the Signar blue highlight again, just in case I'm not too dark, and bring some areas back. Yeah, I should make this whole port area. Oops, sorry, this whole port area silver. Maybe a gold, depending on how I feel. But that's for later. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to do more Signar blue highlighter there. It's a little too bright. Okay. So let's do a bit more. There we go. I might even do a little bit of scratches and stuff like that on the highlighted areas, brighter areas. Okay. Okay, let's get some black out. This is Thamar Black. I'm just gonna add a little bit of exile blue to it so it's pretty deep. I don't want pure black, I want a very deep blue. Pretty thin. And only in very small areas I'm doing this. Just do a small batch and just blend it out. So it shouldn't be that visible, but I'll help give it more pop. Okay. I'm not going to add any of that really dark blue to the foot here. Just only in very few areas. Like the under part of the guy's knee. Right, if you guys got any questions, just let me know. Happy to answer anything. Alright. So, I'm going to go back to this Signar blue highlight. And I'm just going to make sure I've got a proper blending and, you know, light to dark ratio. Because it might be a little too bright in some areas. Like around here. Needs to be darkened just a little bit. And then same with this part. I don't need this that bright. Okay. Okay. Just a very thin amount, just to kind of raise the darker areas and darken the brighter areas. Okay, let's work on this foot a bit more. So I want to get in there with this dark blue, this exile blue. Make sure it's... Oh, I missed... I keep on missing these little areas on the side. And that's okay. So let's go back with exile blue. I haven't done any highlight shading with the Signar blue here, so just do a quick little. Okay. I'm gonna reclaim some of these brighter areas. Just the knee pad didn't got a little too dark. I'm just gonna brighten up just the very top part. Maybe right here too. I'll do all the scratches at the same time, just after I've done all the gold and stuff. Okay. Let's go back to Signa blue and just exile for this part. Good enough for that. I'm gonna use this exile blue just to maybe. Okay, I'm using a better brush, a thinner brush. This is a number 4 brush I've been using for the most part. I'm using number 2. I'm just gonna define this crease a bit more. Exile blue. Signar blue, maybe a little bit more white in it this time. Can just do a little more edge highlighting on some parts right here. Nothing too fancy. Back to exile blue. Okay. Maybe a bit more, a little lighter blue. I didn't do that. For the most part, that's fine. Alright, let's do some gold, or whatever it's called. I think it's bronze. Molten bronze. My base for the gold. Fix this minor highlight I screwed up on. Alright. Go back to my number 4 brush. Make sure this... I find metallics have to really make sure they're nice and mixed. I already shook this one before I started, but I'm going to do it again before I actually apply paint. Alright, so let's do it here. It dries very fast, I find. Like all metallics, I'm going to do little batches at a time. It's gonna be a very long process. I'm gonna use a clean brush just to remove any of this paint where I overpainted. Got the gold on the silver area. Okay. Okay. Slowly but surely get in there. So when I'm doing this kind of detail work, I'm doing all the trim and stuff, I like to go on a flat angle like this, because it always touches the raised part first. I don't like trying to, this is like too much of an angle, I like to go like very flush and parallel. Minimizes any kind of problems, I find. It depends how raised it is. You can just go really fast. Okay. Any questions, just let me know. It's gonna be a long process, this part. That's why I want to do one leg at a time, in case I've found something has to be done before this. For the rest of the model, I don't have to like basically do a giant mistake. It's such a big, complex model. I want to make sure I'm doing every step correctly in the right order. So I'm just doing this as a test part to make sure this is the correct order before I do all the other stuff. If that makes any sense. Alright. Also see what I need to do, because I might need to do a wash over some parts, which is going to cause another migraine and a half of just doing this over the model. I'll have to do like the highlight too, right? I don't want to have to do a wash. I'll do like a wash down here, but I don't want to have to do a wash on like other parts, because that's going to be very tedious. Gotta make sure every single stupid feather is done properly. Make sure the border is crisp. Okay. It's come along. more contrast in the blue than what the camera is showing, it looks like. It's also the lights are kind of brightening it up and reflecting. So the darker areas seem lighter than they should be. I'll just have to show you guys once I take a picture of it when he's done. The proper camera. Streaming camera is not the greatest. Just show off the colors and contrast. Okay. Not too bad. At least think that all these arms are just solid gold, so it's not a huge problem. It's just like the legs are the biggest problem. The chest is very tedious. Actually, is that? Let's see, is that? Okay, so his Omega symbol on his knee is actually white. So no gold. Just the trim. I'm gonna do like a pale gold, I think. So I'm gonna go from like a dark bronze to a vibrant kind of yellow gold and a silver. A mix of silver and the vibrant gold for the very extreme highlights. Okay. Nope. Way too much paint on my brush. Let's try and fix that little glob I did. There we go. Okay. Kind of looks chaosy almost. It's got these weird little spiky bits on the head, on his trim. Looks a little heretical. I guess it's supposed to be like sun rays, I guess, but it looks a little chaosy to me. Okay. So much trim. And before I forget, I should do this part too. Got trim on his little booty part. Big boots. For a Space Marine, his legs are very long in proportion to his body. Normally it's the opposite. This seems odd. You see so many Space Marines, you think they'd shorter legs. Need thick legs to keep them balanced and sturdy. You don't want to be knocked over by the wind or, say, an explosive missile. This guy, I don't care how big you are or how tough. You get hit by a big concussion blast, you're gonna get knocked around. If you've ever played Dawn of War, you see some guys like orcs or whatever, Space Marines, getting hit by grenades and missiles just flying across the map, but they pick themselves up and walk back to their squads. Pretty much try to see this guy just like once I see this guy on the battlefield, just target him with everything they got and just watch him fly around. Let me make sure that trim touches all the way to the edge of the blue. Otherwise it looks funny. At least the highlighting would be quicker because I'm just doing like half or even a quarter of the actual paint, just the trim. If I highlighted parts of the trim, so you don't worry about the actual edges part. You have to worry about the raised areas, which is nice. And here you get away with the foundation. I don't want to have to wash it because the wash will kind of wreck the blue a bit. Gotta use like a brown kind of ink on the gold, but the brown ink doesn't work that great on the blue. Okay. Not too shabby. I do like his purity seals. They're nice and flowy. I find most purity seals look too static. It's too flat. He almost doesn't even feel like a Space Marine. He feels like somebody else who made a Space Marine, like a copy of a Space Marine. Just the way his proportions are. Hell, even his shoulder pads don't feel big enough to be a Space Marine. I guess it's probably because of this stupid thing. It's actually in proportion to his shoulder pad, his big gauntlet. On this side looks more Space Marine though. That sword, which is as long as him, which is just ridiculous. Alright. More gold. More molten bronze? Dwarf on molten bronze, not dwarf. Okay. Oops. You can see why I did the silver and the black wash first. So I don't have to go back in there. Because I have to go back and start painting all this area in here. It's going to ruin all this gold trim and stuff. I can be pretty lazy and just leave it silver there. And look just fine because it's got some shading on it. Okay, a little bit overpainting on the trim here. Just trying to fix that. Problem with metallics, it leaves the stupid little metallic flecks. So you have to be extra careful. Okay. Now I can't go back to that part until the water dries a bit, so I'll go over here. Okay. I'm just gonna paint this whole area silver, I think. Actually, no, let's do gold. Okay, I'm gonna do the whole thing gold. I'm gonna do the little pipes silver, I think. I think that look better. Okay. If there's any questions or any comments or anything at all, just let me know. Okay. Like close to having this leg done. I think just some highlighting. Let me just go back and make sure I've got all the trim all the way to the bottom. It's a real hassle otherwise. Oh, this part right here. Okay. I think. Oh yeah, silver's. I guess they'll do the skulls silver. But that's fine. Okay. I'm just hoping that highlighting will be a million times faster than all this. It should be, but if I go too fast, I'll start screwing up the blue, and that's not what you want. Okay. Let's do some highlighting on his gams. So this is going to be Rulic Gold, which is in Private Press Universe Dwarf. They're like the beardless dwarfs. I might need to brighten it up. I don't know. It depends. Let's see. Yeah, it's not much of a contrast. Alright, let's do some silver to it. Some more quicksilver. a little paler though. At least it'll be brighter. Okay. Let's try this. That silver was a little too dried out, so I'm gonna add some more water to it. It's okay. Not perfect, but at least there's more noticeable difference between the two colors. Okay. Probably use a little bit of a wash on some parts of the guy's eagle, for example, on his legs. The wash will kind of help bring up the saturation, which is what I wanted, but okay. Much faster. I'm almost done. I'm gonna go just some straight silver, I think. Definitely need some wash around the eagle and the crevices area. Okay. Though I think I'm gonna do this silver after I've done all the varnish and stuff, so that's actually make the last thing I do. So it won't be done for this session. So I do all the gloss and dull coat, and it kind of makes all the metals very dull. And you do a little bit of like a highlight, and it makes just all the edges pop a lot. I will be doing a wash. Okay. Very tedious, but turned out okay. So it's going to be a brown wash. So I've got to use brown ink. Now the problem is to find one. Let's see. Oh. Where'd you go? There we go. Alright, so this is brown ink. It's ink, so it's very saturated, high pigment, and so I'm going to tone it down a bit with some green ink. Green ink's just going to like make it less brown and maybe give it more with the black of it. Depends how much I do. If I add more green, the blacker it gets. But I just don't want this reddish brown, so I'm just going to kind of desaturate it a bit. And I'm going to thin it out with some mixing medium, or thicken it up, I guess. That's pretty good. So it's a little darker, a little less reddish brown. And it's exactly what I want for all the recesses. Okay. So let's just go in here. Here as well. Any part where there's gonna be like a lot of gold. I'll try to add some of this stuff. I'm gonna apply some of the back here just to darken up some of the gold back here. And then the wings, let's help define them. So I was using metals on metals there, and it's hard to have a good highlight, good contrast when it's just all metallic. So this will add some non-metallic, because all the recesses won't be flecked, right? It won't reflect light as easily as the rest of it. So there we go. And all the recesses and stuff. There we go. Now it looks like his knee is actually a separate part of his leg. Not attached to his leg itself. The third point. Okay. It darkens them like recessed areas too. Oops. A little bit of over painting that. There we go. Okay, and then let's do a little bit of here too. Give it more of a transition gradient. I will do actually a little bit of silver just to show you what I mean about how high I'm going to bring it. But just a little bit, maybe along the eagle. To show you what I mean, but I won't do anything else really. Can I do a decent trim along here with brown? No, not really. I'll go back with like a black or a very dark blue. Anyway. More definition in gold, at least. I might even do a black wash over the whole thing, unlike the like around here and like back here and even back here a bit. It'll help define all the thing. It's a little too muddy back there. It's just too dark. But I'll wait for that to dry first. Alright, I think it's time for the second leg. Actually, let's do the... I think I have space for the white on the guy's kneecap. What is his purity seals like? Well, his purity seals are pretty white too. I'll do the same color. I might change up the purity seals with a wash, but that's later. Give it a yellowy kind of turn. Alright, so I'm gonna do the purity seals with a bit of a gray. Not gray, sorry. Do the omega symbol on his knees with a little bit of gray. This is gray coat gray. Got a hint of blue to it. So the more white you add to it, the more blue it looks. But still very much a gray. I'm just gonna lighten up. And then just block out my knee symbol. Okay. That's pretty good. Gotta make sure all the darkest areas are blocked out properly. Okay. Now let's do some purity seal on this guy's leg. Yeah, I'll definitely add a little more brown to it after I do some washes and stuff. But for now, I'll just do the shading and stuff, the highlighting. Same color as the symbol on his, the Ultraman? No. Omega symbol, there we go. His Omega symbol. Okay. I'm going to do like a 3-to-1 ratio of gray to white. I'm just kind of blocking up the lighter areas. Oops. Kind of bracing my hand on the wet purity seals. Don't do that. Don't brace your fingers on parts you've just painted. Okay, gonna do some of the edge. I'm gonna do it very thin and just trying to kind of blend it. Nope, that's probably too thin or something. I overpainted that little recessed area. Oh. So kind of weird when it's grayish white, the purity seals. Anyway, it looks better when I do a little bit of wash. But I'll do all the purity sometime, so I don't forget. Okay, now I'm going to take some pure moth white, or moral white, sorry. And I'm just going to do some highlighting. I'm going to use a thinner brush for this one. This is my size 4 brush. I'm going to go back to my 2. Some more delicate stuff here. And if the white was not too, it wasn't that great of a blend, you can just go back with the gray and blend it down. Or if you want to maybe darken up that right there, I could do more of a harsher gray. I'm going to do another little coat of white, just to make sure it has more of a pop. Seems too gray. Much better. Oh! Thanks for the follow, NG Daniels. NJ, sorry, NG. Okay. So I think that's... Okay, let's go back to this guy's purity seals. I always forget about that. So for this part, I'm just gonna texturize it. Like creases and stuff along the edges. And then once I've done that, do it very thin. He's coming very slowly. A lot of that trim is what's taking up a lot of time. This gold trim took a long time. I'll do one more step of highlighting it with some like pure, almost pure silver, I think. But that's after I've done all the sealing and stuff and it's dulled. But leg for the most part is done, except for like that skull, I guess, and the rest of the purity seal. But yeah. Time to do the other leg. Okay. So I think how does that look? Are the colors okay, Daniels? Do you want it brighter or darker, or is this... It looks less... There's more contrast on the actual model. It's just the... my camera... I gotta adjust the settings properly, but... Okay, let's see now. Let's see if we can adjust the... Let's see. It doesn't actually seem that bright when you take it out of the direct sunlight, or direct camera light. But, yeah, because I got all the light directly on it. But I'll be taking a picture of after this session, and you can see if we want it darkened or not. Because I can probably take a black ink and darken some more parts. Okay. I kind of like the saturation. Makes it more interesting. Alright, let's go for the other leg now. So... some more white. Oh, how's it going, Fair Roach? You want it darker? Well, I'll send you a picture with an actual camera tonight once I've done this session. I'll post it anyway on all my social medias, and you can see if you want it darker or not. And just because like the this camera right here doesn't really do it justice. The color's off, the brightness is off. This is my only source of income, so if I procrastinate too much, I have nothing to eat, so that does help. Plus, I like creating stuff, and just habit, really. Just get up, paint, do it, make cool things, challenge yourself. It's nice to experiment with on models, especially other people's models. You can get away with it, depending on what they want. Especially for skin tones, it's nice to like change it up and try different ethnicities, whatever it is. Yes, it's a simpler way of doing it. This is my job for the last 7 years. So, it really is just practice and consistency. Painting every single day, basically. That's what I do. Okay. I'll make his leg a little darker just because of how it's shaded and stuff, because this leg's up and this guy's more down, so it's be a little brighter here, but it's mostly dark. So hope that's better for you, Mr. Daniels. I'm gonna leave the whole part gold. Well, it just takes practice. Like, I'm sure you weren't painting every day. And also good to challenge yourself. And some people just spend way too long on one model. Sometimes it's good to just like give yourself a time limit. I want to spend 2 hours on this guy. Do I have it here? Oh, here we go. Speed painting is fun. I quite enjoy it. This is this is one of my entries for speed painting last year. Let's see now if I can. So it's got metallics, it's got some OSL, it's got some rust, and this guy I only had 20 minutes to do it, and this is what I got. A little bit of texture in a skull. So I quite enjoy speed painting. It really helps with your game, right? Because you can just simplify and basically just tone, like basically just like, what do you call it again? Just like condense what you need to do. Like I only have like 5 minutes to do skin. Well, 1 minute to base coat, 1 minute to shade, 2 minutes to touch up. Things like that. Okay, let's do his crotch at the same time. His crotch, yeah, his crotch is blue. Big blue. But I also do painting lessons, and I'll do some private tutoring for people who do the highest tier of subscribership on my Twitch account. So I can do it in person or on video. I guess it depends on where you live, of course. Let's do his, also do his ample rear. You guys have any painting projects right now you guys doing? Because it's always good to practice. Shadows of Brimstone, is that GW or is that another game? Is it a board game? I think it's Flying Frog. Okay. No, I remember the name, I just don't remember the models for Shadows of Brimstone. Are they good quality, like plastic? Or are they like a only painted 3 models in the last 4 years? Bear Roach? Well, you gotta start somewhere. I mean, it depends on what kind of quality you want to do, right? Some people spend years on like their crystal brush entry, and I could not imagine myself spending years in one model. Like I try and do like a month at most if it's like a high quality thing. Oh, yes, Kickstarters. I backed the Chibi one, the Super Dungeon Explorer one, because I did their previous games are great and all the sculpts. I'm just really sad it's kind of it's come to where it is. Because I really want those models, because some of them are fantastic looking. I'm just unsure if they're gonna come anytime soon or ever, but we'll see what we see, right? I did the Chibi Kickstarter and they're quite Chibi capsule. It was quite good. Got some of their monsters and their dogs. This is a 3D printed Knoll. He's a small one. There's actually a bigger one, like almost twice the size. Little blue and big blue. And then the I think it's I forgot the type of dog. It's a normal, cute little pupper. So you're saying that Brimstone is like Malifaux? Malifaux has got a bit of a Cthulhu vibe. It's Oculus. No, does he? Is that like the Blood Bowl kind of like cute little things, or is that something else? I'm probably misremembering that. Let me actually just do a quick little Google search of that guy. Jolex. Chibi. Oops. Okay. Thanks for the link. Oh, Monstro. Okay. Interesting. Kind of cool. I do like the goblins. Hobgoblin. I quite like them. I'm a big fan. I like chibi, but I don't like most human chibi models. But I love like the monster chibis, because like where's my this is Impact Miniatures Cthulhu. I love this guy. And, like, it's a great monster kind of chibi. I still have to finish this guy. I finished someone's stream like a long time ago. I had to do a base and everything. Yeah. I'm a big fan of chibi. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to your Joel Joxel? Can't pronounce that. Slime and spiders are actually very cute. And Sprite. It's kind of cute too. Troll. Vampire. Zombie. Yeah, the humans, they never do it for me. Necromancer's not bad though. Then he's got some copyright kind of material, like the Kuma from Street Fighter and the Goblin whatever guy and Hellboy. What is that one? The tentacle mouth thing. I do like his goblin attacks. The goblins are kind of cute. I wish the feet had a little more to them. They're just like nubs. Their knolls don't like a. I like a knoll that looks like a hyena. Those things look like, I don't know what, look like ferrets maybe? I don't know. Ferret knolls. Anyway, but his stuff looks great for what it is. They're pretty big actually. Wow. The biggest Space Marines. Interesting. Thanks for the link. That's kind of cool. I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Okay. I mean, one way or another, the copyright people are gonna know. I just don't like the idea of like copying other people's work like that. It's just too. You're just kind of just ripping off another artist. I don't know, I don't like it. It's one thing to get inspiration from another artist, but like just straight up copy. It's not my thing. Oh! Let me just drop that again on stream some more. Okay, let's do some blue. I mean, it'd be cool if I could like show the pictures and discuss those kind of miniatures on the stream, but I can't just because of copyright issues. Because I don't own the rights to those images. But thanks for the link. That was always nice to see them. Nice, like to see more good miniatures and support great artists. So that sculpting was quite good. Very nice, consistent style. Very clear and concise. Okay. So this light's gonna be much darker just because of how the lighting works. Because it's more down. I normally do about 2 hours, and so I'm probably gonna just do this other leg. I think. I don't know if I'm gonna do the trim on the leg, but I'm definitely gonna do all the blue shading. Depends how hungry I get, really, right? Because I don't want to get hungry and cranky and start doing terrible things to your miniature. Because No one wants that. Okay, I'm going to be working on this guy some more tomorrow, though. So, I plan on doing at least 2 days of streaming on this guy. I might do some more next week, depending on how I feel. Oops. Oh, blue. Alright, cool. Thanks for watching and thanks for the follow. Is that Meat Boy? That's creepy as hell either way. Creepy little meat man. It's like the reverse of like a gingerbread man. Can't do too much on this guy's leg right now. Let's work on the other stuff. I think tomorrow I'm gonna try a different music station. Not particularly my fancy, you might say. I'm curious what other channels I have for free, copyright free stuff. This is a little too distracting, I think. But I'll worry about that tomorrow. Right now I'm just worrying about food. And also this paint. Is he working on any projects right now, Fair Rope? Any Kickstarters come in early or very, very late? I'm probably not going to do the trim on this blue leg. I'm just going to do the blue, make it darker. Alright, I think it's time for some Exile Blue. Okay, Exile Blue time. Start with a dry spot, like his bum, which part is probably very sweaty in this kind of armor. Those astronauts have to have like those cold ice water running through their suits because they just like fry in their insulated suits. I wonder if he also has like those with them. Astronauts have like a little like ball or scratchy thing on for their nose, like Velcro for their nose. I guess he can also take off his helmet, depending on where he is. He's fighting in space. Might have an itchy nose for a while. Whoops! I keep painting my palette camera. Should stop doing that. Okay. Since most of the light's just going, it's much darker than the rest because his leg's up, so that's why it's so dark there. The only part that's really light's hitting it's from like the curvature of the leg when it goes up a bit. Alright. Okay. After this is going to be the black with a mix of Exile Blue. There's a tiny bit of Exile Blue in this side. Okay. Almost forgot his crotch. A very important piece. Probably very hard to focus if you took a hit there. Back to some places I already painted and just block out that Exile Blue a bit more. Okay, now I think it's time for some very dark blue. So let's go back and find some black. I'll have to add some new black, I think. Alright, some more Thamar black, with a mix of Exile blue. And black will even desaturate even more. Because black and white have zero saturation in them of any color, so good way to desaturate stuff. Deepen those shadows a bit. I was probably add a purple or something like that, depending. But I would keep the saturation up, which is not what I want. I want to desaturate because this blue is very, very vibrant. Probably shouldn't do any dark, too dark right there, but I'm gonna do a little bit anyway. Should be mostly the brighter blue in that belt, but just want to darken it a bit more for the client. Okay, a little bit of dark right there. Blend it down a bit. Same that corner, just a tiny bit. Oh, I completely forgot about this area right there. Jesus. Alright, whatever. Not a huge deal. Okay. So I think it's time for some dinner soon. So I'm gonna call it a night, I think. Take some pictures soon. Show you what it actually looks like. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night. Bye now.